Good evening and welcome to the World Online Racing League in Tier 3 for PlayStation. Round 8 takes us to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin in Texas for the latest chapter in this championship. There's so far been dominated by one man. That is the Greek Mercedes pilot Panos Kara, who leads the championship ever so comfortably. And that championship is looking ever so nearer for him. 2 wins and 5 second places to his credit. And it looks as though no one is going to stop him in the championship race. But he hasn't always been winning. In fact, he's only won twice. We've had different winners so far this season, including Rostro, who's won twice. I think Badfeller's won once as well, although he's not competing in the series anymore for whatever reason. Here we are, just waiting for some cars to make their way out onto the circuit. And it should be a busy racetrack within the next couple of minutes. So if you have joined us, we do welcome you. Do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel in case you haven't already done so. And do also feel free to get involved in the live chat. You can see a couple of cars making their way out onto the circuit. It looks like an Alpine, or is it? No, it's a Williams. It's almost tricky to tell whether it's an Alpine or a Williams on this game. But it is a Williams, and it's Hearn who's out on track. I think this is his first appearance this season. You can see he makes his way through the slalom section of turn 3, 4, 5, and 6. Nicely done through there, but it is his outlap after all, so there's no need for him to go completely full pelt or as aggressive as he would be doing so on a flying lap. 18-minute qualifying session to determine the grid. 19 drivers are involved. There have been some reserves being called in for this evening. We'll go through that very, very shortly. So Hearn making his way around. There's other cars going through as well. One of the AlphaTauris has gone for a spin. I think that's Speaker and has gone into the gravel at turn 9. I hope he hasn't damaged the car, otherwise that'll be him back into the pits, which wouldn't be very, very good. And there's Hearn on the soft compound about to start his first time lap. And whilst we watch him go round and run through the championship standings, it's a 78-point gap that Panos Kara has got over his nearest rival, which is Badfeller, but he's no longer competing in the series now. His nearest rival after him would be Rostro, who's a further 12 points adrift. So Panos Kara could be as far as 103 points clear by the end of tonight with 5 races to go. Oh, and that's Hearn gone into the wall there, who's lost it on the exit there of turn 6. That is a very nasty shunt there, and amazingly, the car is not terminally wrecked, and that'll be him back into the pit lane for sure. I think Robbo has just gone past him in the Alfa Romeo without any drama, so we'll go to him next. So Robbo, who's currently 4th in the championship standings with 41 points. He didn't finish last time out in Spa. He crashed out. The race was won in the end by Rostro, with Panos Kara recovering to 2nd place. And on the podium was Trench. Trench was actually lucky as well, because he was the one that tipped Panos Kara around during one of the restarts in that Belgian round that saw only 8 finishes. Incredible race that was. So Robbo coming through the last sector now, through turn 19. And this will be him going through the last turn. Apex not too bad. Over the line he comes, and it's a 133.3. With that being the first time, of course, he'll go to the top of the leaderboard. There is Istroy, who's gone for a spin in the Haas. Oh, you want to keep out of the wall there, mate, which he does so. Just look and see who's next over the line. I think it's going to be Sarking in the Haas, who's going through. And Sarking goes to P2 behind Robbo, and Panaskara, unsurprisingly, going to the top on a 131.5. We've seen other drivers cross over the line, SJM doing so on a 131.8. Woolley in third in the Red Bull on a 132.2. And Major posting a 134.5 on the mediums. So running down on the calendar for the remainder of this 13-round championship in the World Online Racing League in the PlayStation tiers. We are at Texas tonight, then we go to Mexico City in a week's time, then we take a week's break before the WOR returns to Portimao in Portugal, then we go to Imola, Jeddah in Saudi Arabia on the 29th of November, providing it is released in time, which I'm confident it will be. And the last round of the season will be at Interlagos, Brazil on December the 6th. Panaskara making his way back to the pits, so we can see Dan in the McLaren coming through. There's a Red Bull behind him as well. And Dan just continuing to set the banker of the laps of which he's going to be doing. Very easy to get track limits wrong on this racetrack. And Dan in the McLaren through turn 19. You can see plenty of the cars staying out of the way. And Dan is coming through here. And this is going to be a 1 minute 34.5, and that puts him in P7 for now. And in terms of the penalty points, which is something I'm trying to find at the moment. So whilst waiting for that, Panaskara is fastest on a 131.5, 3/10 or nearly 3/10 clear of SJM in second. Woolley is third ahead of Robbo. Boas Knoll in a decent fifth position for Ferrari ahead of Sarking and Flying Carats. Speedquin, Dan and Major round out your top 10, but there's still 6 more drivers who have yet to post times so far. Don is one of them, but he's on an invalidated lap time. And I think, who was that that's just gone over the line? It's one of the Aston Martins, actually, which is Trench, who's gone up to P4, the man who finished on the podium last time out at Spa. And to my understanding, Panaskara and Buravida, Flynn and Urco are on 5 penalty points each. And it's 30 points for a race ban and 40 for a season ban or a season disqualification. Now Hearn is back out on track after his early excursion in the Williams, but very nearly ended his session on the spot. He's going through turn 15 now. So Hearn over the line, and it's a 131.8, and that's actually a very good lap time. He's only a couple of thousandths shy of SJM in the McLaren. Just look at else to see who's on the lap. Well, Istrai is not on a fast lap at the moment, so we'll come away from him. Flying Karat is. Sarkin's just started another lap now. So we'll stay with Flying Karat, but he was he was nearly 2 seconds off the pace. So we go to Sarkin next. He's begun a flying lap. How does he tackle the slalom section? Missing the apex of 6 at first. He's half a tenth down from what he has posted before by this stage of the lap. So Sarking on the back straight, rear wing open. And he's a tenth and a half up from before by sector 2. So we watch him through these on-camber turns of 14 and 15. Oh, he got some wheel spin on the exit there. That'll cost him some time. Makes his way through the triple apex section of 16, 17 and 18. Turn 19 goes over the lines there. That was in real life Formula 1. The lap would have been deleted, but it is the F1 2021 game cycle after all. And Sarkin goes up to 6th, half a second quicker than what he posted before. So he clearly found some time in the last sector. Major going over the line in the Williams. It's a 1:33.0 for him. Now Razorback I should say, in the Aston Martin. One of the reserve drivers being called in for tonight. And for what I know, Joe Royal is he's on a qualifying ban following his collision with Funky 7 days ago at Spa. And Aspect is also on a qualifying ban, although I don't think he's around tonight. So Razor coming over the line now. It's a 1. I think that was an invalidated lap time or something, unless it's a glitch in the system. Hopefully we'll see an update on the leaderboard anyway. And Robbo in the sector 2. He's lost time in this sector alone because he was over a tenth up by sector 1. He's still on course for a better time than what he posted beforehand. So Robbo coming over the line and does not improve his lap time. There is Funky in the Mercedes on the soft compounds, and this will be a 1:32.7, over 2 seconds faster than what he posted on the mediums beforehand. So Funky getting closer as Don goes up to 3rd in the AlphaTauri, a 1:31.6 for him. We've seen one of the Red Bulls coming through. I think that may be Flair. He was off the racetrack. And is that his session over? It doesn't look so by the looks of things, but that is not what he needed. I'm not 100% sure whether the damage mod is actually on, to be honest with you. Someone would need to confirm that to me. Sometimes we're seeing the drivers go through or hitting the barriers at quite some speed, but no damage actually being done. Here's his strike, who's down in 18th. He needs a better lap than what he's posted so far. Ideally in the 1:33s to throw himself a chance of being in the top 10. He's nearly a tenth down by sector 2, so the last sector is where he needs to find all the time he can. So Istrai, the man from Spain, coming through the triple right-hander of 16, 17 and 18. There is an Alfa Romeo in front of him who should stay out of the way. And I think he's gone into the pit wall as well. He's wrecked his front, he's wrecked his front wing in the process. Istrai improves his time, but no change in position. He remains in P18. Here's Trench, nearly 3/10 up from before by sector 1. Coming into the hairpin of turn 11. 3 minutes to go now in qualifying. It's gone by very quickly, hasn't it? So Trench coming down the back straight. Nailing the apex of 12. Nearly half a second up by sector 2. And as it stands, he's only going to be moving up 1 position to 6th ahead of Woolley. And rear wing open, and Trench does go up to 6th place ahead of Woolley with a 1:31.8. Now I wonder if the rain may decide to come down as the session is concluding here in Austin. Sarking going faster than before through sector 1. Discott's nearly 2/10 up, I believe, by sector 2. Panaskar is on his outlap at the moment. And Sarking not going faster than before, and that's Discott's missing the pit too quick. So Sarking entering the penultimate turn, and now the last turn, and he is going to go up a few positions, I would think. He's gone to 8th place on a 1:32.4. Just looking to see who is improving out on circuit. Well, Boris Knoll is going faster than before by sector 2. Speakman. Oh, he had to take evasive action there because of Hun not moving out of the way in time. He won't be too happy with that. And Sarking has retired on circuit, so that's against the rules, so there'll be a penalty given to him later on. Boris now goes up to 9th place with a 1:32.5. One of the Mercedes is coming through, I think. Is that Panaskara? No, it's not. It's Funky who's coming through on his outlap. The Red Bulls are also making their way in, and this is Woolley. Not sure if he's going faster than before. He wouldn't have gained any time, actually. By the way he entered turn 19, and so his in-one is actually improving. The checker flag is out now. There is May is in P2. And Razor, who's in place of Aspect, doing a very good job to get himself up into P2. Boris Knoll in the Ferrari in place of Frankie, who's not around tonight, and neither is Charzy as well, so I think he may well be the only Ferrari representative for this evening. So rundown on your grid order for the race. Panaskara on pole ahead of Razorback in 2nd place. Don is 3rd ahead of SJM, then it's Hearn and Trench on the 3rd row. Woolley and Sarking are next behind, followed by Major and Boris Knoll rounding out the top 10. Funky and Flynn are next on row 6, followed by Speakwin and Robbo. Discots and Flying Crow are next, followed by Dan and Istrai on the 9th row. Joe Royal not able to set a time as he served a qualifying ban for his antics at Spa last week. So we are ready to go for the race. I've just seen a few drivers that may have disconnected, actually, so I do hope they do get back in time before the race does begin. We'll be back very shortly. The conditions look dry, but it's not the sunshine that some may have been anticipating coming into tonight's event. Just looking at the other reserves that have been called in for tonight. And Boavida, I don't think, is around. Neither is Rollin. Hearn has got a full-time seat at Williams. And Razorback, obviously, in the Aston Martin in place of Aspect. So I think it's actually just a couple of drivers that have been called in for tonight. Paris Cara leads the field on the formation lap. And looking at the compounds each driver is starting on, Flint, Speakwin and Dan are on mediums, the rest are on softs. So there have been 4 different race winners from the 7 races so far. Paris Cara has won 2, Rostro has won 2. Badvilla, who's no longer in the series, has won 2. Jovel won 1 in Japan. So Austin has hosted Formula 1 since 2012. It did miss 2020 due to the pandemic, but returned in 2021. Some of you will have known what happened at the weekend, but I won't spoil it in case any of you are going to be watching it on catch-up. So Paris Cara on pole, looking to take his 3rd victory of the season, which would take him a giant step closer to the title. You can see the cars making their way back onto the grid now for the start of this race. Who's going to lead the field into turn 1? That's anyone's guess right now. The cars line up on the grid now, ready to go for round 8 of Tier 3 PlayStation in the World Online Racing League. And you can see the remaining cars just slotting into position there. There's Joe Royal coming in onto his grid spot now, and we are ready to go for this 28-lap United States Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin. So the drivers wait for those 5 all-important red lights to extinguish. It's lights out, and away we go. Plenty of cars jumping the start there, but Paris Cara has kept his car, waited until the lights went out, and he is in 4th place on the road, which will effectively become the race lead once Don, Trench and Hearn come into the pit to serve their drive-through penalties. There's an incident in Sector 1. It looks like Boris Noel's gone for a spin in the Ferrari, but everyone else has got away cleanly. But there's going to be a lot of pit lane activity, not involving mechanics, but drivers coming in for drive-through penalties to, well, as a punishment for jumping the start. 6 drivers at the moment. They are Don, Trench, Hearn, Sarking, Woolley and Boris Noel, which will hand the lead back to Paris Cara once he does come in. I just wonder if Boris Noel got damage at the start there, hence why he's dropped back. He's moving around rather funny, if I'm honest, as we see the drivers go side by side as they come into turn 12 here. Robbo running wide, and that allows the McLaren of SJM and Razorback to get through. Razorback dropped back heavily there, but he'll gain back some of these positions once 4 of those ahead of him come in for drive-through penalties. And it looks like someone else has gone round in sector 2. Is that Boas? No, is that just a glitch? I think it's just a glitch, actually. So just ignore that for the time being. There's no doubt going to be loads of drivers heading into the pits to serve drive-thrus at the end of this lap. You can see the top 3 coming in, and Sarkin will most definitely do the same. So Panaskara rightfully in the race lead at the end of lap 1. And it'll be Major in second place, SJM third, Razorback fourth, Robbo fifth ahead of Funky, Joe Royal up to 7th on the back of the grid. Brilliant start from him. Flynn is 8th, Discott's 9th, and Speakwin in 10th. And Razorback gain a move on SJM to move back into 3rd position. As the Rots drivers go through, and Boris Knoll struggling to get the car turned in there. And it's to turn 1, and it looks like Flynn has gone for a spin at turn 6. He's continued on his way though, but he's lost a lot of time off that spin. So Red Bulls beginning to the race, not working out very, very well, to be quite honest with you. No DRS for the first 2 laps of this race, as we watch Flynn go for another spin there in the Red Bull. He needs to make sure he keeps his standards in check. There's Razorback right behind Major in the fight for P2. There's Robbo looking at SJM in the fight for 4th position. And Razorback thought about going for a move on Major, but had to accept defeat on that one. But all of this is allowing Panaskara to bridge further and further clear of these guys who are fighting over the same, well, fighting over second place at the moment. We've got 4 drivers fighting over second. They are Major, Razorback, SJM and Robbo, as Panaskara posts a new fastest lap of the race. Major getting out of the tow there, which Razorback did have. So I think Razor is going to just hold position there in 3rd place until they get to the DRS zone on the back straight. I'm not sure what the yellow flag is all about at the moment. As Trench gets past Dan for 12th position. Next one ahead of him is Don. As Panaskara still leads, there's another couple of drivers who have received time penalties for track limits. They are Flying Carrot and Dan. And now Razorback looking to have a go. And it looks like one of the Alpha Tauris has gone for a spin. Now it's Don who had served his drive-through penalty at the end of lap 1. Pointing the wrong way, and he's just come to a stop to make sure he does not rejoin into the path of other drivers. But he's back on his way. He's way down in last place now. So Panaskara nearly 5 seconds in front of Major as he approaches the end of lap 3. Razorback dive into the outside of Major as they go into turn 15. And there's an Alfa Romeo of Robbo looking to the outside of the McLaren of SJM. But no change of position there. And there's Razorback going side by side with the Williams of Major into the last turn before the pit straight. And that is the Aston Martin through into P2. Now Major is not going to have the DRS because he was in front at the detection point. But he may decide to have a go himself because he's in the slipstream. Here's SJM as well, diving to the inside. Need to keep it clean. Oh, there's contact between the Aston Martin and the Williams and the Alpine of Joe Royal. That's very unlucky there for Joe Royal, to be honest with you. That's his front wing completely gone, and his hard work done all for nothing. And Boris Knoll is disqualified from the race for not taking his drive-through penalty when he's been instructed to do so. That is him out of the race. So Robbo now up to 2nd in the Alfa Romeo. SJM 3rd, and Funky now up to 4th place. There was a bad over there, and Razorback's dropped back a load of positions after that spin. Oh, he's got damage to his front wing. Damage to the front wing on that Aston Martin, so that'll be him off into the pits at the end of this lap, no question. Just looking to see if there's any other change in positions happening all around the circuit. And Flying Crap making a move on Speakwin for P6. You want to keep it clean, boys. There's a long way to go yet in this one. And Flying Krat has no problem in disposing the Alpha Tauri. So Trench behind Major now. With his teammate can't get through, he can get through himself. Bit of contact there, but he was entitled to go down the inside there of Major, and he's due into 8th place. SJM, the next getting the time penalty for track limits, so we're going to be seeing a lot of those, unfortunately. Contact made there between Major and Speakerin, and the rain has started to fall now on the racetrack. So this is going to make it even more challenging for the drivers as Joe Royal comes into the pits, as does Hearn. Now, will they decide to go into the intermediates? Because if the rain continues to intensify or continues to come down, then they'll want to be on the intermediates. Well, Joe Royal's going on to a set of intermediates now, and I don't blame him, to be quite honest with you. Hearn staying on the slicks. And they're out on their way now. Major gets a time penalty for track limits. So the rain is coming down now. We're on lap 5 out of 28 here in Austin. Panascara's lead is 7.5 seconds over Robbo. SJM is in 3rd place. The DRS is still enabled at the moment, so drivers within a second of the car ahead at the protection point will still be able to use the DRS to gain that extra advantage down the back straight and the pit straight. There are 2 DRS zones on this racetrack as Trench gets past Flying Crap to go in back up into 6th place. So Trench recovering very well after having to serve that drive-through penalty at the end of lap 1 for a jump start. So Flynn in 14th place has got Istro behind him. There's Hearn and Joe Royal, who I can't imagine will be setting the best times at the moment. Brazier is also on the intermediate tyres. You don't want to go too soon on these intermediates because otherwise the last thing... Oh, and SJM's out! As he hit the pit wall on the entry. I'm not too sure, but his race is over. He's lost it on the outside of the pit straight. There's Woolley going for a spin as well. He avoids the wall, unlike SJM. And the safety car has been applied, so this is coming at a convenient time for the drivers who are going to be ducking into the pits for intermediates. Sarking doing exactly that. What horrible lot, though, for SJM so early on in the race. In the top 3, but going no further as his teammate Dan comes into the pits. As Don comes in for intermediates as well. Flynn making his way in. And Hearn, who's only just pitted a lap ago, is back in for intermediates. Joe Royal, I think, would be wanting to get another set of those intermediates on, considering he'll done a lap of those on effectively a dry track, but it's not exactly dry now. Now Hearn coming out of the pits behind Razorback in 15th place. Joe exiting the pit lane. As the safety car awaits Panos Kara, who I would imagine will be pitting in at the end of this lap. He hasn't got a choice. No, he's just taking it easy at the moment. Make sure he sticks to the delta. Any driver exceeding the delta will be given a drive-through penalty, which cannot be taken under safety car. It has to be taken under green flag conditions. And so Panascara comes in. His teammate's going to have to queue behind him as well, which, to be fair, I don't think he'll have to wait too long before the Mercedes crew can service him. He lost about a second or so, but that should be okay. He should get back into 3rd position. Scott's had to wait a little bit, so Funky will go back into P3. So Speakerin coming through in the AlphaTauri. Tries to get in front of Discots, but he'll have to settle for 7th place until this race gets back underway. So everyone is now going on to the intermediate tyres, or are on the intermediate tyres. Well, once Sarking does get onto the intermediates, everyone will have changed onto the intermediates. The only ones that are not going to be on the intermediates are those who are out of the race. ACJM not finishing once again. We saw him retire in China after being on pole position. That was a golden opportunity for, missed for him then. So his third non-finish of the season. He's also retired at Silverstone. And there's Sarkin going for a spin, exiting turn 1. Now Sarkin just needs to make sure he keeps his... Oh, he's going too quick though. He's getting the power down too much. He needs to slow down. And just seen Trench almost overtaking Funky there behind the safety car. Now, how long will these conditions continue to be around for? So 4 drivers with time penalties at the moment. They are Flying Karat, Major and Dan, as well as Don, of course. So your race order is that Panos Carrera leads at the quarter mark, ahead of Robbo in second place. It's Funky third, Trench fourth, Flying Karat fifth, Discott sixth, Speedquin seventh, Wooly eighth, Major ninth, and Dan in the top 10 for McLaren. Now the point system in World Online Racing is the same as Formula 1, except there's no points awarded for the fastest lap. Now Don, who's in tonight in place of Rostro, who unfortunately isn't around this evening. So with Bedfiller and Rostro not around, and Robbo in second place, as it stands, Robbo would move up to third in the championship. I would think the safety car will go into the pits at the end of this lap. We'll see as it continues making its way round. So is Panos Carrera going to take his third victory of the season and maintain his 100% top 2 finish record intact? Apparently for Boris Knoll, his lobby was glitched and he couldn't see anything, so he couldn't do anything about it, unfortunately. And that's a shame. I think the safety car is going to remain out there for one more lap, so I'd imagine we're going to see a lot of wheel-to-wheel action now. I'm just thinking, if the rain continues to intensify, will we get to see the wet tyres being used as well? Or maybe another question is, how long will the rain continue to be around? Well, lap 9 of this race now. Now in the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes have a 69-point lead. They had a 69-point lead over Aston Martin. With Pascal and Funky up there in first and third positions. They're going to extend that massively going into the next round in Mexico City. So the safety car continuing going round. Pascal just waiting patiently for the safety car to peel back in. It looks like Razorback has gone for a spin in the Aston Martin. And he's fallen to the back of the field as a result of that. So the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap. You can tell by the lights that have gone off on it. So it will be peeling in at the end of this lap. So Panascara will slow down, dictate the pace. And he'll pull clear whenever he feels is best. There's Robbo behind him in second position. Funky in third. Can any of them do anything about Panascara ahead? I think it's going to be very difficult for them to do so. We're back on the way then in Austin. 19 laps remaining. Panascara remains in the lead. We just watched Robbo look to make a move as we got Major go for a spin, and it looks like he's reset to the track as well, so that'll be against the rules and a penalty coming his way. Speakwin moving in front of Discots here. Discots fighting back. Speakwin may be able to complete the switcheroo on him, and he's through into sixth place. So Speakwin on a charge at the moment. Dan has gone for a spin as well in the McLaren. There he is, falling behind Major. But Panascara still in the race lead as we watch Trench distract Funky for all he can. As Major picks up another time penalty. Robbo going off track on the exit of turn 9. And Major gets a penalty for corner cutting. Trench going to the inside here on the Mercedes of Funky. They leave each other space. And Trench should be able to get a move on Funky down this back straight. The DRS has been disabled now, so the driver's going to have to make do with passing the old-fashioned way. And Trench diving to the inside, and Dan has gone for a spin on the exit of turn 11. Trench diving to the inside, and that's a nice clean manoeuvre there from Trench, back up into third place. Oh, and Funky doesn't give it up though. He made contact too much there. Trench won't like that one bit, and Flying Crap has closed back in on these guys. So as you watch Wooly behind Discots in the battle over 8th place. So Wooly diving to the inside of Discots, and this will be him going back up into 8th position by the looks of it. Discots gets out on the curb, and Wooly goes past without a problem. There's Royal back up into 11th place. Major into the pits for Williams. I think a new front wing's going to go on as well for him. Yeah, there's definitely damage to his car. So Panascara looking very comfortable, but he won't want to be getting too comfortable at the moment. Major is going on to a set of full wets. Not sure if it is time for those yet. Not enough standing water at the moment to think about putting the wets on. Flying Crap, think about a move here on Funky. Going to the inside. Is this him up to 4th position? Yes, it is. Great move there. And Funky losing another position. And now he's got 2 AlphaTauris to worry about now. And 2 Red Bulls after that. There's Discots and Joe Royal tussling over 10th place. There's Flynn ahead. Royal diving to the inside there. Discots leaves him room. Royal going to the outside, I think. Alfa Romeo runs out wide at turn 19, and Don's out of the race. Would you believe it? Don has crashed out, or he's exited the race by retiring on track, which is interesting. Not sure how that happened. That shouldn't bring out a safety car, but it may well do. So there's Hearn, but Don's race is over, unfortunately. Third driver out of this race. Trench closing in on Robbo in the fight for P2. And looks like Major's race is over as well, so he has crashed out, or is he crashed out, or is he just retired on circuit? He's just retired on circuit, so there needs to be something. This needs to be clamped down where drivers are just retiring on circuit via the pause menu, as it is against the rules and against driving standards. And Woolley behind Speakwin. Woolley. It's Troy going side by side with the Aston Martin of Razorback. And Trench is through into second place now by passing Robbo. We didn't quite see the move, but we know the result of it. And Trench is up to second. Can he close down on Panaskara, who has built his lead up to 5 seconds now? Speakwin going side by side there with Funky. Is Funky about to lose yet another position? There's Funky to the inside as they go into the penultimate turn. Funky still keeps his nose in there. Speakwin will have the inside line. Funky leaves him enough space. Funky runs out wide. Speakwin gets a little bit of wheel spin on the exit. But he's through and up into 5th place. And Woolley fancies a chance of going for 6th position in the Red Bull. He's got his teammate behind, so he needs to watch his mirrors as much as he watches Funky ahead. Woolley going to the outside. Does he complete the pass on the Merc? The answer to that question is yes, and Funky's gone off the track. And he's rejoined almost into the path there of Flynn, so Funky down to 7th place now. So there's Trench in 2nd place. The rain is still falling. And Royal has passed Flynn now for 8th place. What can he accomplish by the end of this one? Dan picks up another penalty for track limits as we watch Royal defend from Flynn. Robbo is down to 3rd place. The Scots now with a time penalty. I don't know if we will see. Oh, and there's a car going for a spin. That's Sarking, who rejoins without any trouble. We're at the halfway point of this race now. Panaskara still leads. And looks like Dan has gone for a bit of a ride through turn 14, although not in the fashion in which he should be doing so. So Trench looking to stay in touch with Panaskara. Now if he was to finish 2nd in this race, Trench would move on to 45 points, which at the moment would move him up to the top 6 in the drivers' standings. So Funky going side by side there with Royal, who makes a move on Mercedes pilot. And Royal is due into 7th place, so that's another position lost there. And it looks like Discogs has gone for a bit of a spin in the Alfa Romeo, but has continued. Panascara still in the race lead, looking very, very strong right now. Sequin behind Flying in the battle for 4th. They both go through turn 1. Flying still defending. Sequin knows that Flying is not an easy man to pass. Sequin behind. Can he make a move on the back straight on the Alpine? Gets the power down as soon as he can. Flying using his ERS to defend. Sequin will have the slipstream advantage to help him pull alongside. He does the old switcheroo. And Woolley is behind Speakwin. Still in a 9 from Razorback, holding the final points paying position on the road, although he would drop behind Hearn as it stands. 6 seconds he's got as Razorback. And looks like Sarking's gone for a spin again on the exit of turn 15. I don't know if we will be seeing pit stops before this race is over. Speakwin gets past Flying Karat, and that puts him up to P4 for the time being, but Flying Karat is on the touch! They make contact to Speakwin and Flying Karat. Flying Karat falls further down the order. That could have been a very nasty accident there, but luckily both of those drivers have kept going, albeit have lost time in places. Woolley's now up to 4th place. Flying Karat gets a time penalty for track limits. And Joe Roll now behind Speakwin in the battle for 5th. As the Alpine looks to get in front. And Royal goes for a spin. He stays out of everyone else's way. He has lost the position to Funky though, and to Flying Karat. You can see further behind, there's Flint fighting out with the Williams of Hearn. The Red Bull gets through. Royal still ahead of Flying Karat for now, at least. He's getting a bit feisty at the moment out there now. Hearn gets past Flint for 10th place. So Panascara has a 7.5 second lead over Trench. Robbo another 4.5 seconds behind. Then it's Woolley in 4th. Speakwin 5th, and a Funky, Royal and Flying Karat. You can see an Aston Martin of Razorback trying to get through as well. He goes to the inside for turn 11. Flying Karat outbrakes himself, and that's going to allow the Aston Martin and the Williams to go through easily. The rain seems to be getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and Dan's gone for a spin at turn 1, but it's continued. Flying Crap makes contact with the Williams of Hearn as they exit turn 12. And they both keep pointing the right way on the racetrack. Flying Crap looking to make a move, but no room just yet to attempt a pass. And Speakwin decides it's time for a change of tyres, coming in at the end of lap 17. And it looks like one of the Hassers has gone for a spin. That is Sarking, I think it is. That's not the first spin we've seen from him today. Speakwin comes in. And he should rejoin with some clean air. Just seen an Alfa Romeo go down the pit straight. That is Discots. Now, what can Speedquin do on these tyres, I wonder? Pits for Haas. We'll probably put a set of the intermediates on. There we go, on, and looks like Razorback has got in front of Joe Royal as they go side by side on this back straight. The Alpine gets through. Joe Royal on a move in the Alpine. He's got the inside line for turn 12, but Razorback brakes later. He might just be able to stay in front of him for the time being here. He forces Royal to the outside, but Royal has to do the switcheroo on the exit of turn 13. No way through that. So Royal up to, well, I say he's up to, still in 7th position behind the Aston Martin. And someone looks like he was going to go in the pits there. Funky just made a calamitous mistake, though. Is that a glitch, actually? It was a glitch. So Funky is, in fact, in the pit lane now for Mercedes. And this will be him going on to another set of intermediate tyres. There they go on. Discott's also in for Alfa Romeo. There's Speakwin coming down the pit straight now. Has Funky done enough to stay ahead of Speakwin on this occasion? I don't think he will stay in front of him, to be honest with you. No, Speakwin is through. I think Speakwin was ahead of Funky before that round of pit stops anyway. But the AlphaTauri driver's now got a lot of clean air in front of him. Flying Crap picks up another time penalty for track limits. I think that's his first of the race, is it? No, it's his third one. 9 seconds he's on. So Dan moving in front of Sarking, and that's Dan into the wall, actually, as he comes into the pits. Looks like he's serving some of his penalty, actually. 17 seconds he's on as well. He'll go down a lap behind Panaskara. Sarkin continues to get penalised. There's Trench in P2. So we're 9 laps away from the checkered flag. I think the track is getting worse, actually, the way the rain is coming down, but it's still not time for the full wets yet. Looks like someone's gone for a spin and this continued. And Funky now with a penalty for track limits. That's his first of the race. And Flying Crap being overtaken by Flynn as we go on the back straight towards turn 12. Flying Crap goes to the outside. He was later on the brakes, but I think Flynn will have the high ground and he's doing into 8th place. So as we watch the battle for 8th, as Flynn looks to pull away from the Alpine, who's looking as though he's starting to struggle at the moment. Pascara having no problems at the front. He's increased his margin to just over 10 seconds. Let's try in front now of Flying Crap, who very much is starting to go backwards. Speedquin is catching him at a rate of knots. The thing is he going to gain enough of the ground he had lost by pitting for another set of the intermediates? Someone's gone for a spin in sector 3. I think that is Dan, who is a lap down on nearly everyone in this race. He's only a lap down on the top two, but he's allowing Robbo and Woolley to get by. So Speedquin getting closer to those ahead of him, but remember he does have that penalty of 3 seconds which will be applied at the end of the race for him. So it's to go like clockwork, and it's the same with Funky. And Dan continuing to be penalised, but he's well out of sync with the others anyway. And Robbo with another time penalty. As it stands, he would fall behind Woolley at the end of the race. Razorback will drop 2 positions at the moment. And Woolley gets ahead of Robbo on the track. And someone's gone off in sector 2. Is that Dan again in the McLaren? It is. And race going from bad to worse for him now. He'll just want this race to be over as soon as possible. Pascara looking very good for the victory though. He's been unstoppable from start to finish. And this victory will take him a giant step closer to sealing the championship crown as it stands. It'll go... It was a 69 point lead at the beginning of the round? No, I think it was a 78 point. Yeah, it was a 78 point lead that Pascara had. So should he win this race, he'll have a 103 point lead over his nearest rival, which is Badvilla, who's not competing in this series anymore. Robbo would move up to 3rd in the championship. I think the rain is easing at the moment. It's not going to be anywhere near enough to think about put the slicks on. So the number of points left available after this race will be 125, which would mean that Panascara can seal the championship should he basically finish the race, to be honest with you. We'll look at the permutations after this race. But for sure, Panascara is on his way to championship glory. No doubt about it. As Dan goes for yet another spin on the exit. And he's been disqualified for points in the wrong way. So that is Dan's race over, unfortunately. Both McLaren drivers out of the Grand Prix. So the 14 drivers left in the race are all on the lead lap. And the closest battle we've got on track at the moment is between Flying Carrot and Speedquint over 10th place. As it stands, Flying Carrot will be dropping 2 positions to 12th. So Speedquint clearly has more grip than the Alpine. Right on his tail to have a go. Now does he go for it into turn 1? Dives to the inside. It's a nice move that from Speedquint. He covers his line and he goes through into P10. So Speedquint getting a very nice move completed. Discox gets a time penalty for track limits, although that won't affect his finishing position as it stands. Now the next man ahead of Speedquint is Istrite, 3 seconds in front, who also has a 3-second time penalty. And Flying Carrot's race gets even worse as he's just been given another time penalty for track limits as well. So just a few drops of rain coming down now. Don't think we're going to be seeing the slicks coming back in before this race is over. I'd be very surprised if we did. Panascara over the line to complete lap 24. 4 to go. .2 seconds is the gap between Istrite and Speedquint in the battle over 9th place. Istrite on 18 lap old intermediates, Speedquint on 6 lap old intermediates. Speedquint's definitely got enough time to get the job done here. Speedquint nearly losing it coming out of turn 9, but gathered it all up. Speedquint not able to have a go, but Funky is able to get in front of Flying Carrot now into 11th position. There goes to the inside, and that is him through into P11. So half a second is the gap between these two drivers as they come out of turns 12 and 13. Through 14, Speedquint, is he thinking about moving to 15? Ooh, he tries to distract Istrite every way he can. He's not able to get through. Now Razorback is also on the rear of... He got horrible wheel spin coming out of it, and that's because he got on the curb. 3 laps to go. Does he go for a move? The answer is not through turn 1. His try gets on the curve though, and Speaker is able to get a better exit. But his try lives to fight another day. And Speaker now gets another penalty for track limits. And Razorback approaching the Alfa Romeo of Robbo. Not able to get through at the moment. Oh, Razorback. He had to correct that kick of oversteer and did very well. Speakwin ahead of his try on the road, but needs to pull out a 3-second margin on him if he's going to remain ahead of the Haas driver by the checkered flag. The next man ahead of him is Flynn, who's just under 3 seconds up the road. He's only got 2 more laps to go after this lap that Speakwin is on. And someone's gone round in sector 2. That'll be Sarking in the Haas, who's just been lapped by the race leader. There's Razorback looking to get in front of Robbo here. It's been a pretty standard race, it has to be said. I know the rain came down. SJM's accident brought the safety car out, which has helped bring the field back together and keep them on the racetrack. And we haven't had too much drama since. Now does Razorback go for it into turn 11. There he goes to the inside. And that's a brilliant overtake, but has he gone in too deep? I think he has. And Robbo gets back through again on the Aston Martin. Now Razorback will fancy another go into turn 12. Can't quite do it there. He may go for a move on the inside at 13, but doesn't choose to do so. Robbo continuing to remain in front, but Razorback gets a better exit coming out of turn 19. Here he goes to the inside. Is this going to be a change of 4th position on the road? It is, you know, but these two will still fall behind Hearn once the penalties have been applied. So effectively, Razorback would be in 5th place. But here's the Alfa Romeo coming back on the inside, and the two make contact. We're on the last lap now, guys, so keep it clean. They don't keep it clean, though, and that's the Alfa Romeo into the barrier. And Robbo's race is over. He will not be impressed with Razorback there. That was a blatant, silly piece of driving there from Razorback. He oversteered into him and forced him into the barrier, off the track and out of the race. Now, that will most certainly go to the stewards. That's a certainty. We'll go back to the leader, though, because Panos Kara is close to completing his final lap and is going to go on and claim a convincing victory to take him one step closer, one hand on the trophy, the championship trophy in Tier 3. One more corner to go. Panos Kara exits the last corner to take his 3rd victory of the season. Panos Kara wins the United States Grand Prix in Austin. He takes another step closer to the title. He now has a 103-point lead over everyone else with 5 races to go. Trench comes through in the Aston Martin in 2nd place. And then it's going to be the Red Bull of Woolley on the podium. I think that's the 2nd time he's finished on the podium, unless I'm mistaken. Either way, he's finished in 3rd place. And then it's going to be the Williams of Hearn ahead of Razorback, who will most certainly be under investigation for that collision with Robbo on the last lap. Joe Royal is 6th, Flynn is 7th, and Speakwin has remarkably made up the gap over Istrai to keep hold of his 8th place. So Flynn 7th, Quinn 8th, Istrai 9th, and Funky gets the last point for Mercedes in 10th place. Flying Krat 11th, and then it's going to be Sarking, Robbo in classified 12th, Sarking a lap down in 13th, and Discots in 14th place. But it's a victory for Panaskara here in Austin. So the drivers celebrate on the podium. Panaskara will be a very happy man, as will Trench for finishing in 2nd, and Wooly on the podium. He'll be very, very happy with that as well. So your race result sees Panaskara on top, ahead of Trench in 2nd place. Wooly gets his first podium finish in World Online Racing in 3rd place and gained the point for the fastest. Well, there's no points for the fastest lap, I should say, but nevertheless, he did get the fastest lap. Herm was 4th, ahead of Razor in 5th, Joe Roll 6th, Flynn 7th, Quinn 8th, Istrai 9th, and Funky running out the top 10. Flying Krat missed out on points. I would say Funky finished in 10th, again the last championship point. Flying Krat was 11th, Robbo classified in 12th despite crashing out on the last lap. Sarking 13th, Discots the last of the finishers in 14th place. Don, Major, SJM, Boris Knoll, and Dan did not finish. As I've already mentioned, Panaskara extending his lead at the top is now 103 points with 125 left on the table. And the next round of the championship will be in Mexico City in a week's time. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Do make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And we can't wait to do it all of again in Mexico City in 7 days' time on Monday, the 1st of November. 8 p.m. GMT it will be, because we'll be moving the clocks back an hour this weekend if you are someone who lives in the UK. I'm Tom Cairns, and I'll speak to you again soon when World Online Racing returns.